Hello, this is Richard Haight, and today I would like to address a question from a Bianca. And her question is, I'm a Christian with what I believe to be a prophetic gift. I know things about people. I've even helped other people get through certain hurdles in their lives and healed some who were sick through prayer. But I find that I need guidance spiritually, and I'm not getting much help in the area in that area from the church. My own life has been filled with a lot of loss and pain, and I don't know where to start from in getting my own life in order. Regards, Bianca. Hmm. So this question is clearly filled with a lot of suffering. I can feel it tangibly. And the reason is that she wants to correct her life. Bianca clearly wants to correct her life. But the means in which she has invested herself, and it may have been at a young age, for the purpose of that correction, in this case, the church, we don't know which, some Christian denomination, has not provided the support or guidance she needs to effectively correct her life. And that's very, very painful. And so there's a lot to address here. And again, first and foremost, I'm not coming at this with the intention of insulting any belief system, other than to say all belief systems fundamentally need to be left behind in order to find that which transcends all belief systems. If the God that you believe in can be held within your mind, or the mind of your church elders, or within a book, is it a God worth your attention? Because that's not a transcendent God. And if it can be held within a book, can be described within a book, be very, very careful. That's misleading. I write books, but the books that I write never describe the most fundamental thing, because it's beyond description. My books are dedicated to correcting one's life and leading one's awareness back to the experience of the most fundamental, not the knowledge of it, the experience of it. The reason that church elders tend not to be able to provide anything but a kind of prehashed template is that they themselves are not directly connected to that experience. For if they were, they would realize life is not a template. You can't just run people through a factory teaching and get them to understand. Even the word love, as someone like Jesus might have meant it, bears very little resemblance, or maybe no resemblance, to the word love as your mind hears it and interprets it, and as you have ever experienced it. Now, admittedly, there are some people that have experienced what I'm talking about, or what Jesus might refer to as love. But most people who talk about Jesus, or people who claim to be Christian, have not had the experience that I'm talking about. There's something deep within you. There's a fear, of course, that may lead you to a sense of insecurity and a desire to correct your life. But underneath that fear, there's something much more fundamental that is the true life-correcting force. And that's what these teachings are meant to bring awareness to. But you're not going to find that awareness through teachings themselves. One needs to practice, put into practice the teachings, not through mind, but through consciousness, through deep feeling. I do not mean worship. I do not mean worship. Unless to you worship means the most profound attention. In such case, I can accept that as worship. If worship means bowing down and lowering yourself to some authority, already there's a sense of separation, or that is mind. There's something outside of me which I am bowing down to. There's God, and then there's me. And that is in direct defiance of the fundamental teaching that Jesus gave, that God is the Alpha and the Omega. God is all that is, which also includes you. God does not bow down to God. There's no need for that. God is not on an ego trip. Any God that were would not be worth your attention, would not be worth your time, because that is a very human, mind-based, immature human mind-based trait or pattern. And what you're looking for is a transcendence of that, if you're truly looking for a life correction. So going back to the question, I need guidance spiritually, and I'm not getting much help in that area from the church. My own life has been filled with a lot of loss and pain, and I don't know where to start from in getting my life in order. Recognize first that loss and pain, that there's nothing that you own. There's nothing that you own. And that all that we perceive to own will be lost, including this body. And recognizing also that there is a difference between, at least I describe this difference. It's important to have a difference between pain and suffering. There is pain. If you cut off this hand, there's pain. It's a nervous system message that there's damage. We may or may not be able to deal with that pain. If we have a medicinal herb, or we have access to painkillers or something like that to deal with the pain, then that's possible. But on a spiritual level or more fundamental level, your suffering is not born of physical pain, at least as you wrote it here, but more born of the attitude to which you have, the attitude to which your mind has taken, not you have, the attitude to which your mind has taken toward the loss and the pain. With every loss, something new comes to fill the void. Open to what is new. Recognize that the attitude towards the loss, the negative attitude towards the loss, is not helping. And little by little, withdraw attention. Withdraw the attention from that attitude, or little by little, bring attention to the most fundamental and remain open to the present moment. Without feeding the narrative, there will be a kind of words in your mind, like, poor me. Why did he have to die? Or why did she have to leave? God, why did you take my child from me? There would be all kinds of narratives. Those are all unhelpful. And it makes no sense to continue feeding that which is unhelpful. So you can observe those narratives in the mind and allow the distancing. Don't give those narratives the mic of your lips. Don't allow them to speak through you, because they are fundamentally not you. Recognize that there's something deep within you that is strong enough to move through the loss and the pain. Because there's a voice within you, deep down, or a feeling within you deep down that you are not capable of getting through the loss and the pain. And that's what feeds those narratives. That's what feeds those mental noise, that mental words in your mind. I'm not worthy. Essentially, it equals I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I can't handle this. Reality is the alpha and the omega moves through all things. There's some place within you that can move through the loss and the suffering harmoniously. And that's what one needs to find. That is the true spiritual guidance. My teachings are just a finger pointing towards that. Some might say that that is my belief system. The good thing about it is I don't need to prove it because it is self-proving. If you do these things I talk about, little by little, you will begin to see how functional and how practical it is. And you are, little by little, you are freed from this emotional, mental turmoil. And little by little, the sense of separation between you and God diminishes until there is only the Alpha and the Omega, the truest you, that has nothing to do with what you believe or what you think. It has nothing to do with who you think you are or your life story, nor does it have anything to do with what others think you are and the projections of you they have about you. It is the felt sense of connectedness to all that is. And that is the true spiritual guidance. One can start to discover or reveal this most fundamental you through such things as chanting and prayer and meditation. But in order to do so, we need to recognize that we cannot make a deal with that, with the Alpha and the Omega. We can't say, God, I promise never to sin again. I promise never to drink again. If only you will give my child back. If only you will make me happy. If only, yada, yada. That's not how it works. It's actually a very childish mentality. It's a very selfish mentality. And because the prayer is sourced from selfishness, what we could describe as our inner demons, it won't lead to harmony. It will lead to more suffering. You cannot make a deal with the transcendent because it transcends deals. It transcends self and selfishness. Instead, one relaxes into and embraces the transcendent and allows the transcendent to correct one's life. Right now, where you are, relax into the deepest, most harmonious feeling within. This is the beginning. Relax into that feeling. Allow it to expand everywhere. Feel that love. Feel that harmony. Set aside your sense of self. Deeply, deeply accept and relax into a beautiful grace within. Then open your eyes and look around you. Notice that which is out of sort, that which is out of harmony, and begin correcting it. Maybe dusting, maybe vacuuming, it may be organizing, it may be removing things or adding things to the room. And then do the same thing with the mind. That feeling of harmony within is the correcting force. And there's never a moment in your life, except for possibly sleep or sickness, where you can't, in some small way, improve the atmosphere of your life. There'll be a mental narrative, there'll be a story in your head, a little conversation, a little voice, a little demon on your shoulder that will say, how's that going to help? It's a waste of time. That is the illusion. Correction is not a waste of time. Allowing guidance from the deepest place within is never a waste of time. But start with small things and develop greater and greater capacity to relax into the most fundamental place within, and then sharing that with the world around, and then allowing that place to view the world, especially your immediate environment, your house. Start with your house, start with your room, start with your family. Most importantly, start with the mind and make corrections. And people will say, well, I can't correct myself. I can't correct my mind. Sure, absolutely you can. You do it all the time. It's just that you do it in ways that don't transform your life. I see this all the time. Kids are playing video games, and then while playing video games, they're quite capable of correcting themselves and improving their skills. And they will dedicate a lot of time to correcting themselves and improving their skills until they reach mastery. It's because they love that process. It's inspiring to them. They love it. That same principle applies to the inner atmosphere, the way we communicate and speak with people and behave in the world. Are we making corrections in the same way that child corrects, with the same degree of passion? Most of us aren't. Most of us view the self-transformation process as a burden. We view the spiritual path as a kind of heaviness. And oftentimes we're more concerned about sin and judgment than we are about the joy of correcting. No true correction can come without the joy being part of it, the inspiration leading it. So, Bianca, I hope this helps. Thank you so much for sending me a question and sharing a little bit about your life with me. For those, there are some people that maybe would like to donate to help support this program. You can go to my website, you'll find the link below, and there'll be a PayPal link, and any little bit helps. Thank you so much for participating and sharing your hard life earnings and love to allow this process to move forward in the best way possible. Thank you for being a part of it. Take care. Bye-bye.